audience and from online. So I'm excited to be here, and Joyce, I'll kick it over to you to start things off.
Hi, thanks Eric, and welcome everyone to explain a little bit about the noise, because we are inviting people. We found that the internet connection is available for people to join us from Japan and Taiwan. So that's why we opened Google Meet to include more people. And for anyone, if you do have some questions or anything to share, you can also scan the QR code of Slido so that you can post your question now. And okay, so I will take over from, I will step into the part I need to share for now. Hi everyone, I'm Joyce Teng. I'm from Taiwan Equality Campaign. So who we are, we're an advocacy organization in Taiwan. So previously working for marriage equality, but now we are working on all kinds of advocacy for Taiwan's LGBTI rights. And we do have different work items to do, advocacy and of course legal reform, but we also do like inclusive workplace program, which is mainly operated by my colleague Sebastian, and working with Taiwan's longest existing LGBTI organization, Taiwan Hotline. I say May is now at back. Okay, so we also do the research and public communication, and we recently developed the international campaigning with our partners in both Japan and South Korea. So yeah, as an advocacy organization, we're trying to develop multiple ways to make the world better. Yeah. So it's me. Briefly introduce myself. I was legal background, so started the work with the TC since 2017. And so for today's topic for inclusive workplace, I want to start from the current situation in Taiwan. So we do have subject related anti-discrimination regulation in our legal system. But at the same time, we can also see that LGBTI workplace experience sometimes still quite challenging, even with those regulations to secure the rights not being discriminated. So for the regulation, we can see that from the employment, at the beginning of recruitment, actually our regulation asking the employer not to discriminate based on the sex, gender, or sexual orientation. And that's also written in our Gender Equality in Employment Act, which act is also advocate from the women's movement for a long time to asking for better gender protection or gender equality regulation in Taiwan. And within that also generally we put gender sexual orientation within those regulations. So it's not first in those regulations, but in 2007 and 2008, our society, our gender mainstream policy promoting made us available for, make those terms, subject terms, available within the regulation for gender equality. So within those regulation, with those regulation, let's see how is the experience from the LGBTI community. So now we can see Taiwan Social Hotline first conduct the first LGBTI lives workplace experience survey in 2016, and I will mention that later. And we TC and Hotline together to conduct the second and third survey in 2019 and 2023. So you can see when we're asking for the question, about the first column would be, I can freely express my gender identity to my colleagues. So you can see the number actually is raising. So from, we score from 0 to 5, and people now think they are freely can express themselves to their colleagues. So the number will be 3.3. So the second column, you can see whether it's necessarily for us to hide our gender identity from our colleagues, and the number is dropping. So from 3.3 at first in 2016, and the number now is 2.7 now in 2023. So, but we also asking for the last question, whether you think it's necessarily to hide from your supervisor, from people above you in workplace. So the number still remain 3.0 now. So people sometimes still need to hide or stay in the closet when they in workplace. So totally, that's the number into 2023. You can see there are still 13% of people totally stay in closet, and but now people come out to their colleague more often, so 45%. But to the supervisor, you can still see the difference. Only 28% of them willing to come out to their supervisors. So our solution from the civil society, I think we can conclude from the 4 different topics. One is to raising the visibility, and the second will be the build up the connection. And also we will seek the supporting from the corporates to for legal reform, for advocacy of the gender equality policies. And most important, like Eric just mentioned, in HRC they do have the workplace index. We also developed our index from 2023 for the first time. So we can see that for raising the visibility, that's a long time ago, Hotline and lots of other LGBTI organizations, they launched some events to make LGBTI visible. So there is an event called LGBTI in Every Industry. So people working for different, like nurses or engineer, all kinds of work, all kinds of industry. We want people to come out to see, to let the public see we're in every kind of industry. So that's how important, or why it's important to have an inclusive workplace. So in 2016, actually, you can see that it's also another example from Taiwan that private sector, civil society working together with Taipei city government. So our local government do provide resources for us to have some more events or public education, communication to let people know workplace equality is very important for LGBTI community. So that's also the first year Hotline conduct the first survey of LGBTI plus in workplace. So for another thing is also important is to build up the connection. In 2019, that's the year we're advocating for same-sex marriage law. So we gradually start the work of business gathering, friendly business gathering. So from that time, only, like, I still remember the first time we only have like, with under 10 corporates join that gathering, and we even have more staff in that cafe to talk with them. But now, every time we need to run a like gay bar or lesbian bar to host 30 plus corporates every time, and from all kinds of industry. So I think that's the gathering, and every gathering you can see we will have a introduction about our work, civil society, and we will also invite people to in groups to communicate, to share their experience to each other, so that the corporates will have the connection between them, and they can also develop the inclusive program by themselves together. And so from that gathering, we also invite the corporate to publicly support legal reform issue. For example, you can see we do have two different pictures. Like one is that we invite corporates to support marriage equality publicly during our advocacy for same-sex marriage law. And the other picture is similar and with more logo on that. That's for wedding industry. So that's why during our marriage equality campaign, we invite people working in wedding this industry to support this issue. So to show to the politician or the political sector that it's needed. And now it's developing into really workplace equality program. So we still do have survey now, and we do. I mentioned about the corporate gathering, and we also to have the capacity building workshops with the corporates, and the final, but not least, that we conduct the first workplace index. And I want to mention about the capacity building workshop. That's the topic we will mention. We will have the basic knowledge about LGBTIQ+, and also we will have the course about unconscious bias. How can you behave well or more friendly in your workplace without unconscious bias? So that also include communication skills, how to become allies, and also introduce the current policies, or encourage those corporates to conduct or launch inclusive policy within the corporates. And I just mentioned about the gathering. So sometimes the workshop or those events are launched by those corporates collectively together. So they will communicate, and maybe corporate A say, we do have people want to have this course this year, but we don't have a budget. But the other corporates say, oh, we can collaborate. We do have some budget from the higher level, so they kind of can collaborate together through those gathering or connection. And I want to introduce a little bit about our workplace index. So for the first time, actually 62 corporates joined those index, but we also notice that 60% of them are international or transnational corporates, which means we will work on the local or small or medium industry more in this year when we conduct the second time of the index. And I might have time, so I think it's also important for us to know that also in Taiwan's public sector, Taipei city government, they also have the similar certificate or guideline for corporates to have more gender equality policies within. So first time they conduct the guideline in 2019, and first time the Taipei city government to have the workplace certificate. If they use those guidelines or use those index to exam with those corporates' work, that's the first time they issue the certificate. And also, they include LGBTIQ terms or items to examine whether the corporates are inclusive in terms of the LGBTIQ inclusion, that's the first time in 2022. So generally, we will put everything together and with the Taipei City government. So the final part, I will mention about the interaction and collaboration from the private sector and also the public sector. So you can see from previously I mentioned that Taipei City government did provide some resources at the beginning for some workplace inclusive events and education. And also we just issued the first index, and during that time we're trying to invite Taipei City government to become one of the participants of the index. They are also employer, they do have staff, so whether they are also LGBTI inclusive, so we invite them and they will join our index in this year. So from that invitation, we also being invited to Taipei City government to have the lecture to let them know about our index content, material, what's the item, what's the things we care about. And that can also make Taipei City government maybe the first example of the workplace, inclusive workplace, if they got the index recognition for this year. So I think that's the basically something I want to share today about the collaboration, about the work we do from the civil society in Taiwan.